Hello, guys and gals, and this is another reading from Fantasmagoria, a book by Julia Bruce. It is an atlas of fabulous creatures, enchanted beings, and magical monsters. It is copyright 2009. And in the last episode, we read about the Cymurg, feathered fiends, mermaids, nixies and nymphs, Scylla and Charybdis. In this one, we will be reading about the lake lurkers, monsters of the deep, river monsters. We'll be reading the glossary, further reading, index, and acknowledgements, because we are at the end of the book. And then in the next episode, it will be the final one. We will go over all of the maps. So, let's get this party started. As Pink would say, I'm coming up, so you better get this party started, or something like that. Okay. I'm coming up, so you better get this party started, or something like that. Okay, let's see. Lake lurkers. Just going to check. Yep. Okay, we are two lake lurkers, and it looks like we have Nessie here. First of all, we are going to read the little thing up here. Let's see. The elusive monster that is said to lurk in Scottish Loch Ness is well known, but is by no means the only lake-dwelling mystery beast. Many lakes are said to harbor unmentionable creatures in their murky depths. Here are just a few enigmas from around the world. Some lakes in the world just seem to attract mystery. Perhaps it's to do with the size or depth or the surrounding landscape. Whatever the reason, it's not difficult to believe that certain lakes could be home to something that out of the ordinary. However, skeptics point out that most lake monster sightings have actually turned out to be rather more mundane. Swimming deer, otters, seals, driftwood, waves, or optical illusions, even deliberate fakes. Even so, the existence of monsters in lakes across the world is still hotly debated. Now, we're going to read about Nessie. And we're going to read this caption first. Okay, let me see. Changing hands here. It says, this famous 1934 image was revealed as a fake 60 years later. The monster turned out to be a plastic neck and head attached to a submarine. Okay, that's good to know. Tales of the Loch Ness monster date back to the time of Saint Columba, some 1600 years ago. The saint is said to have blessed the beast when it emerged from the river Ness, which feeds into the loch. In all its terrible glory, however, the creature is shy and elusive. Modern interest in the monster was rekindled in the 1930s when a road around the lake was opened and the creature was spotted several times out of the water, only to lurch back towards the loch again when it was disturbed. It is said to be large and bulky, with a long neck and a small head. Some people have suggested that the creature might be a surviving plesiosaur, a great marine reptile that became extinct at the same time as the dinosaurs. Various sonar readings, photographs, and snippets of footage of the monster have built up over the years, and various investigators have sought to examine the claims. Between 1962 and 1972, there was even a Loch Ness Investigation Bureau. Despite all the interest, Nessie remains elusive and unexplained. Okay, let's talk about Champ and Ogopogo. A creature called Champ is said to live in Lake Champlain, a large lake on the border between Canada, Quebec, and the USA, New York State, and Vermont. Champ was first spotted as early as 1609 by the French explorer Samuel de Champlain. Since then, there have been over 300 reported sightings. A lake monster also appears in the legend of the local native peoples, the Iroquois and the Abenaki. Whether or not Champ actually exists, he is certainly a great tourist attraction. The lakeside village of Port Henry even holds a Champ Day every August. Lake. Okay, let me change my positioning really quick here. That's better. Lake Okanagan of British Columbia, also in Canada, is thought to be the home of the lake monster nicknamed Ogopogo, though the native people prefer a more respectable Nahitaka, which means water demon. Like other lake monsters, it is said to resemble a plesiosaur with a streamlined body, long neck, and small head. Unauthenticated photographs and film footage of this creature exist, but nothing has ever been proven. It says serpentine figure glides silently along the lake surface in the dawn mist, but do such lake lurkers really exist, or are they just figments of people's feverish imagination? And we have one more thing to read here. Australia's bunyip. It says here, frightening Aboriginal Australians flee from a terrifying bunyip. The mysterious and bloodthirsty monster is said to haunt water holes in the Australian outback. It does look kind of scary, to be honest. It says, in a dry country like Australia, lakes, billabongs, and water holes are vital sources of water, but no matter how great your need for water, always be careful when approaching a water hole there. A bunyip, a creature of Aboriginal legend, might live below the surface. No one quite knows what these lake creatures look like, but the name means devil or spirit, and everyone agrees that they can be dangerous. Many have described the bunyip as having dark fur, a dog-like face, flippers, tusks, and a tail of a horse. Bunyips are reputed to be shy and elusive, but if provoked, they can become fierce man-killers, emerging from the water at night to devour any creature, animal, or human who comes near. Many explanations for the bunyip have been suggested over the years. Some say they are seals that have swum upriver from the sea. Others that they are tribal memories of long-extinct giant marsupials that roamed Australia when humans first arrived. Okay, we are moving on to monsters of the deep. What lurks in the deep oceans where sunlight never reaches? Even today, we do not know, and everything about the life that exists in the ocean depths hundreds of years ago, we know even less and imagined even more. Well, let's start down here with this giant squid, because it looks really cool. Real-life monsters of the deep. Terrible storms, giant waves, glimpses of whales and walruses, the unearthly glow of phosphorescent creatures, and the shadows of massive shoals of fish might all have fueled tales of sea monsters, but sometimes fact is stranger even than fiction. There are real-life sea monsters that are equally, if not more, terrifying than their legendary counterparts. The giant squid, for example, might have inspired Kraken stories. Was only known from a few incomplete specimens of unauthenticated sightings until 2004, when one was finally photographed for the first time. This specimen, was a massive 8 meters, 26 feet long. Scientists estimate that giant squids can grow up to 14 meters, 46 feet in length. That's longer than most buses. A likely candidate for the legendary sea serpent is the oarfish, the largest bony fish in the world, which can reach lengths of 11 meters or 36 feet. Its silver body, bright red dorsal fin, and the mane-like crest behind its head gives it a strange, unearthly appearance. It says, a giant squid would dwarf the average diver, but rather than sailors and their ships, this monster feeds on fish and other squid. Okay. I was just checking something out. Okay, now let's go on and read about this. Okay, it says here, with suckered arms as broad as tree trunks. This terrible squid-like sea monster attacks a ship. For centuries, sailors have told tales of such creatures as this. Okay. Got it. Okay. It says here, huge, scaly, and unstoppable. I'm going to plug my phone back in for a little bit. Sorry about that. I'll start again. Huge, scaly, and unstoppable, massive sea serpents have been described by seafaring people worldwide for centuries. They appear in mythology and folk tales of Scandinavia, the Mediterranean, and the Near East. Even the Bible has its fair share of sea monsters. Norse myths featured a particularly massive sea serpent, Jormungandr. I know I'm probably not pronouncing that right. Jormungandr, the Midgard serpent, was so long that it encircled the entire world, and sailors mistook the humps on its back for islands. In some accounts, sea serpents were snake-like, while in others they were more like sea dragons with horns on their heads and whiskers. Some, like the Leviathan, were once said to breathe fire. Ancient Greek writers took stories about sea serpents very seriously and kept careful records of apparent eyewitness accounts. Since then, there have been hundreds of reported sightings, and unlike many sightings of weird animals, sightings of sea monsters are often reported by several people at the same time. However, despite at least 1,200 sightings having been documented over the years, there is still no real evidence for the actual existence of such underwater beasts. Okay, let's read about the Kraken. Release the Kraken. A terrifying sea monster of Scandinavian folklore, the legend, the Kraken was described as being the size of a floating island. It created dangerous whirlpools and dragged passing ships down to the bottom of the ocean. Kraken was sometimes said to have the appearance of a giant crab, other times that of a gargantuan octopus or squid. The legendary beast has inspired many fictional sea monsters, including the terrible giant squid in Jules Verne's classic book, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And we'll read about the Leviathan. Leviathan is a terrible sea monster mentioned several times in the Bible's Old Testament. Leviathan was over 900 miles, 1,450 kilometers long, and circled the earth in the ocean depths. It breathed fire from its mouth and smoke from its nostrils, and made the sea boil around it. No weapon could harm it. It was sometimes described as having 7 heads and 300 eyes. Some say that God created Leviathan to play with. God created Leviathan to play with. I get it. Others describe how Yahweh, the God of the Hebrews, fought Leviathan in the waters of chaos and finally killed it. That is not the last the world will see of the Leviathan, however. According to the Bible, on the day of judgment, the monster will be served up and consumed as part of a great feast. We are moving on to river monsters. Rivers are the home to some of the world's most deadly creatures. The world's deadliest creatures, including crocodiles and piranhas. But what other terrors might they conceal in the highest reaches and darkest depths? Many rivers around the world are said to harbor their own supernatural horrors. Okay, let's read about this handsome guy or gal. With an evil glint in its eye, the Chang Torg serpent emerges from its watery lair. Okay. So let's read here. China has many tales of river monsters. One legend tells of a great serpent that lived in the Qiantang River. This ferocious creature, known as Kiao, we'll say it's Kiao, terrorized the people and was clever too. Although over 100 meters, 328 feet long, it was able to camouflage itself. No one knew where it was or when it might strike, which made it very difficult to fight. The monster was finally killed by a local hero in a monumental battle. The Makara of Hindu mythology is a monster of rivers and waters. It has a tortoise's body, an elephant's tusks, and the mouth and teeth of a crocodile. and a fish's tail, and its name means creature that is neither one thing nor another. In one legend, Ganga, goddess of rivers, rode on the back of the Makara down to the river, spreading fertility across the land and making rice grow. Varuna, god of the winds, also rides the Makara. Okay, river monsters today. Okay, this says, with the mouth and tooth of a crocodile and the trunk of an elephant, the Hindu Makara certainly deserves the name of neither one thing nor another. Wow. Okay, for almost 100 years, the people of Newport, Arkansas, USA, have reported seeing an unidentified beast thrashing around in White River, which runs through the town at 4 to 7 meters long, 13 to 23 feet. It is quite a giant, and judging by the strange tracks found in the banks of the river, it seems to be just as home on land. Some people have dismissed the creature as a displaced seal or even a penguin. Others think it is a large fish, such as a paddlefish or a sturgeon. Eyewitnesses say the beast has smooth gray skin, a large gaping mouth, and most unusual of all, a long protuberance sticking out from its head. The Zentava River in South Africa, home to a strange creature called Mama Liambo, or African brain sucker, is described as half horse and half fish, and over 20 meters, 66 feet long, with short legs, a body like a crocodile, and a snake-like head. It has a hypnotic stare, and its eyes shine green at night. The Mamlambo is dangerous as well as terrifying to look at. People who live in the area say it has dragged animals and humans into the water, where it sucks out their blood and brains. Local people believe the deaths are normal drowning accidents, but some people still believe that the river monster exists. Legend has it that if anyone is ever brave enough to capture the Mamlambo, great wealth will come to them. Okay, now let's read about this thing. Mokele Bembe, a living dinosaur. About 100 years ago, people from a small village at the heart of the Congo jungle in Central Africa started reporting sightings of a very strange animal in or near the Congo River. A large creature about the size of an elephant, with brown or gray skin, a long neck and tail, and a small head. Several foreigners also reported having seen the creature. All of the descriptions match that of the extinct dinosaur Apatosaurus, although the real dinosaur was a plant eater. Local people say this creature had attacked people. They linked it with ancient rock paintings nearby, which show a long-necked, four-footed beast known as Mokele Mbembe, meaning rainbow. Since these early sightings, scientific investigations have brought back specimens and droppings and casts of huge footprints, but despite these findings and other evidence, the existence of Mokele Mbembe have yet to be proven. And it says here, an artist's impression of the Mokele Mbembe browsing peacefully in the forest. Is it a living dinosaur or a figment of the imagination? Okay, we still have... Here's the glossary. We're just going to quickly go over it. I don't think we're going to go over every single entry. But afterlife, the life that comes after death, in the beliefs of many cultures, ancient and modern, alchemy is the practice of early scientific experiments to discover the secret of everlasting life and to turn ordinary metals into gold. Astrology is the study of stars and planets and how some people believe they affect human lives. Babylon is an ancient city, the capital of Babylonia, a kingdom that covered part of modern-day Iraq. Brothers Grimm, German brothers Jacob and Wilhelm, who collected and published a collection of European folk tales in the 19th century. Camelot, the location of the court of King Arthur in British legends. Canopic jars, containers used to store internal organs that ancient Egyptians buried with mummified bodies. Cryptozoology is the study of creatures whose existence is not proven, such as the Yeti, Sasquatch, and the Loch Ness Monster. Day of Judgment. According to many religious beliefs, the end of the world, when all souls will be judged for their actions. Demon, an evil being or spirit. Ectoplasm, a natural substance associated with the appearance and presence of ghosts. Exorcism, the casting out of demons that are possessing a person or animal. Extinction, the death of all members of a species. Extinct species are irretrievably lost. Familiars, demons in the shape of animals that were believed to accompany witches. Folklore, the traditional beliefs, myths, tales, and customs of a community handed down by storytelling. Heroes, in the myths of many countries, particularly Greek and Rome, heroes were men of supreme strength and ability who performed acts of great bravery. Immortal, fated to live forever and unable to die. Ka, a person's life force or beliefs in the beliefs of the ancient Egyptians. Labors of Hercules, a series of 12 seemingly impossible tasks set for the ancient Greek hero Hercules or Heracles by King Eurystheus. Legends, stories handed down from earlier times, sometimes originally based in historical facts, but usually much changed. Levitation, the raising of people or objects into the air by the power of the mind alone. Marsupials, mammals that nurse their young in a pouch, such as the native Australian kangaroos, koalas, and possums. Also the duckbill platypus and the echidna, I think. Or maybe those are just native creatures. I don't know. Anyway, Mesopotamia, an ancient land in the Middle East between the river Tigris and Euphrates, now the region of modern-day Iraq. Mesopotamia means between rivers. Middle Ages, the period of history dating from roughly 500 to 1500 AD, described as medieval. Mortal, human and capable of dying. Muses, goddesses of ancient Greece who controlled the arts and sciences. Myths, traditional ancient stories dealing with supernatural beings, monsters, gods, and heroes. Myths often explain aspects of the natural world, such as the existence of mountains and rivers. Matron, the natron, naturally occurring mineral salt, hydrated sodium chloride, sodium carbonate that is effective at drying out materials used in embalming and mummification by ancient Egyptians. Norse, relating to the people of Scandinavia, particularly Norway in medieval times. Paranormal, not scientifically explained. Parapsychology, the study of psychological phenomena not explained by current science, such as telepathy. Psychology, the study of the mind and behavior. Persia, the ancient Middle Eastern country, modern-day Iran. Phenomenon, a notable event or happening, often one that is unexplained. The plural is phenomena. Phoenicia, an ancient Middle Eastern country, roughly equivalent in territory to modern-day Syria and Lebanon. Phosphorescence, natural light that a substance or animal emits without producing heat. Prophecy, a foretelling of the future. Psychic, relating to skills or phenomena that are unexplained by natural processes or scientific understanding, especially telepathy and telling the future. Psychokinesis, the movement of objects by the power of the mind. Puritan, the followers of a strict type of Christianity that was common in England and on the east coast of North America in the 1600s. Santa Claus, also known as Father Christmas or St. Nicholas, a popular Christmas figure in Western nations. Satan, one of many names used for the devil in Christian and Jewish belief. Scarab, a type of dung beetle that was sacred to the ancient Egyptians. Sonar, a system for detecting objects underwater using sound waves. Supernatural, something such as ghosts that cannot be explained by known natural process. Trojan War, a legendary war between Greece and Troy, an ancient kingdom sited in present-day Turkey. Tsunami, a huge ocean wave caused by the displacement of seawater offshore, for example, by an underwater earthquake or volcanic eruption. Underworld, the land of the dead, which is said in many cultures to exist beneath the surface of the earth. Voodoo, The religion practiced in some Caribbean countries, particularly Haiti, a combination of Native American and Roman Catholic beliefs. Wicca, a religion that centers on the worship of nature, including deities of the sun and moon. Practitioners sometimes describe themselves as witches. World War I and World War II, conflicts that took place between 1914 and 1918 and 1939 and 1945 that involved most of the major nations of the world. Zodiac, a band of the heavens divided into 12 controlling houses, the signs of the zodiac. Some people believe that they affect human lives. Woo! Okay. Further reading, I'm not going to really go over these too close, but I will zoom in on these. And as for the index, further reading. Books, we have Fantasy Encyclopedia, Fairy Tales, Myths and Monsters from Dragons to Werewolves, Deadopolis, okay. I'm going to leave these on the screen for a little bit and then just slowly pan down. And then we'll go over here. Wikipedia, newanimal.org, Black Drago, Myth Encyclopedia, Pantheon, Unknown Explorers. And we have the index here. We are not really going to do much with the index, but this is the index. And here are the acknowledgements. I will pan over these briefly, but basically reading them is going to be next to impossible. But I did want to make sure and have these in the video. And now we will it's the same with this one. And that has been Fantasmagoria. Oops. It is a book by Julia Bruce. Let me get the chest jacket back on. Let's see. It is an atlas of fabulous creatures and enchanted beings, and mythical monsters. Anyways, there will be one more episode to this, and then we will be done with it. In the next episode, we'll be talking about all the maps. Anyways, if you like this content, make sure you like and subscribe and ring the bell so you know when I upload. Also, if you want to support me in any way, all that information is in the description below. As always, thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day.